welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Monika and this is episode 22. This is the second time I'm filming this. I tried filming it earlier this week, but I was very tired. It was very late at night and I was rambling a lot. So, take two. Already my cat is trying to get into the office. I hope she will stop. Oh well, I hope you can't hear her. I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is a self-drafted pattern. It is my cable knit pattern, cable knit sweater. It is made out of Lykkegarn Merino in the colorway Mars. So yeah. I'll try to be quite quick today. I want to get everything done relatively quickly so I can go to bed because I am quite exhausted. But I will try and go through things relatively quickly. So the first thing I'm actually gonna show when it comes to all my projects is a finished object. So yeah. And these socks are vanilla socks. Last time I know I was done with one sock. The other sock I had half a foot left or something. I know these look kind of weird even though they have been blocked. And that is because they didn't fit on my sock blockers. I do have wooden sock blockers and I do have a normal pair of socks on the outside of those because I'm very worried that any yarn will catch on the wood. And these socks are too tight to fit on the sock blockers even if I try to take off the socks I have on them. They do fit me, though they fit very tightly, which is what I wanted. These are knit up on 2mm needles. I knit them on my Maisgul needles. I think they're 9-inch needles. 20 centimeters, I know that for certain. And the yarn is Anita Strikketante in the colorway 172. Yes, that's all I have to say about this sock pair. I am very happy, I'm very pleased. This is my second vanilla pair this year. And my third pair of socks. So all in all, I am very happy. I'm putting them over there. I'm gonna do my new cast-ons at the end, so you'll have some excitement and new things to see after I've shown you the progress I have on my other knits. I have a lot of knits now. I had a lot of cast-on energy, so I kind of went a bit overboard, I think is the right way to say. Yeah. So yeah, you have seen this sweater before if you've been here before. If you haven't been here before, welcome. You're gonna see a lot of new knits. Now, I just gotta figure out which way is the back and the front. Yes. Yes. This is my textured sweater. It is also a self-drafted pattern, I think. I will let you know if it's not a self-drafted pattern. Most of my knitting is. 2 weeks ago, I think, I got the body finished and I'm now on the sleeves. And the sleeves have been taking me a lot longer than I thought it would, mostly because I've been thinking back and trying to figure out how to do sleeve decreases, and I have concluded that I don't want sleeve decreases because I want the boxy fit of the sleeve. And then I'm gonna do rapid decreases at the end, right before the cuff. So I'm gonna have to get through this pattern repeat again before I'm done with the length of the sleeve, or I'm probably gonna have to like try it on or something to see. But I have like measured how long it is now and how it will fit me on my body. It will at least fit me to the middle of my elbow, probably further because I haven't considered the amount of ease the body has at the moment. So yeah. So the marker is here. So I have not knit a lot in the past week on this sweater, but yeah, that's mostly because I had a lot of cast on energy, so I have been working on wildly different things. But I will try to get this done in the coming weekend. I for once have a weekend without any big plans, and the only thing I have is it's wow, how do I say that in English? Like a home, we just moved into a new place party. Not ours, but a pair of friends of ours. They got engaged last year and they have had it quite a busy schedule. So they haven't had time to have that party until now. So they're having that on Friday. And on Saturday, me and my husband is having a private birthday dinner, just the two of us, at a restaurant downtown. And that will not take all of my weekend, so I will have a lot of knitting time, and I'm very excited. But yes, this is made out of Sandnes Garn Smart in the colorway Sjøgrønn, which I do actually have the tag here, so maybe I can have the number. 7364. Yes. I am on the fourth to last ball of yarn. If any of you remember the panic I had and I bought 4 more skeins, and turns out they had the same dye lot and everything, so it was good. I am now on the first of those 4 balls that I bought, and I do still have quite a bit left. So I do think that will be more than enough. Yeah. I'm pretty certain. Yeah. No panicking yet. So yeah. I think that's all I have to say about this pattern at the moment. It's twisted rib and a slip stitch cable pattern. And then there's garter stitch borders between them. So I'm very happy, very pleased. I think it's gonna be really, really beautiful when it's done, but it do desperately need to be blocked. Also, I was planning on wearing my Seascape slipover for today, but I have not had time to block it. And when I put it on, I saw that like you could clearly see it wasn't blocked. So I wanted to like wait with the reveal until it was blocked and all. Maybe I can, if I have time, I will block it tomorrow and then it will dry over the weekend. We'll see. Yeah. I don't think I have any plans tomorrow, but I might have forgotten something. Not so easy to know. But yeah, very happy with the sweater. I'm sorry if I'm speeding through this, but I really do want to go to bed too because it's really, really late. Okay. I will continue with my other green sweater. Now, let me see. There. The marker is here. As you can see, I have done a few rows, but I have not gotten very far. Yeah, I did steal the original needles from this project because I needed them for a different project that I have cast on. For some reason, I started thinking maybe I was supposed to use 3.5, but no, it's 4. So this is 4mm needles, This is the same cable knit pattern as the one sweater I'm wearing, but a size larger. I haven't written out the pattern yet, I just know that this is a larger size than the one I'm wearing, and that was kind of like the plan. I've made some changes to the pattern, but I think it's for the better. Like the cable I have underneath the arm, which you can actually start seeing. It is the same pattern that's on the top of the arm. So yeah, this sweater is made out of Lille, Rille, thick merino in the colorway Misty Mountains. And I do suspect I don't have enough of this yarn, but it's okay because I bought more yarn, though it is thinner, so I'm gonna have to hold it double. And it's not the same colorway. It's in the colorway Nord i skogen. I did say the colorway wrong last time, I think. Nord i skogen, that's the North in the Woods, that's the name of the other colorway, which is the color of this very dark green in this variegated yarn, but that one is tonal instead of variegated. So yeah, I am very happy with the sweater so far. I think I'm gonna love it when it's done. It just hasn't been a priority this week, or in quite a lot of weeks, to be honest. I'm just gonna move the marker now so I won't forget. There. Perfect. Yeah, it's knit up on 4mm needles. I don't think there's more to say about it. I love it, but I haven't done a lot on it this week. It's only been like a few rounds. Yes. Continuing with the speeding through. That's the plan anyway. Last of my whips that you have seen before. If you've been here before, you have seen them before. This is my red sweater. This sweater is made out of Strikkekista Potensial in the colorway Lollipop, which is 50% silky, 50% superwash merino. The colors are actually showing up really correctly today, so I have done something correctly with the lighting. Good thing. Yeah, I have not touched this at all in the past week. It has been languishing at the bottom of my knitting basket. Just because I had so much cast on energy and so many ideas. I said last time that the weather turned back to kind of like spring, and spring always gives me so many new ideas. So yeah, the weather has turned again, so now it's raining and cold, but that's kind of like how spring is where I live. It's gonna alternate between beautiful warm days and almost snowing if it's not actually snowing, right up until like June. So yeah, if we're lucky we'll have a beautiful May and a relatively wet June, and then July and August will be nice. We'll see. But yeah, this sweater is knit up on 2.5mm needles. The yarn is very thin because it's 600 meters per 100 grams. So it's less than fingering, less than standard fingering. It's like thin fingering, I guess. But I'm knitting them up on 2.5mm needles to get a less dense fabric than I would do for, like, if I was making socks. I'm doing a saddle shoulder construction, I think. I think that's what it's called. In my eyes, it's basically a raglan. I'm just doing the placement of the raglan different than standard. When, like this one, I have this cable down here and I increase on either side. But here I did, first just the ink rises on the outside of this panel, and now I'm doing them only on the inside. So I'm done with the portion that's supposed to be over the shoulders, and now I'm like increasing down to get enough stitches for the arms. So yeah, I do think that when I am done with my current sock projects, I should probably put this as my to-go knitting. I do think I need to take a break from some of my sock knitting because it's starting to get a bit hard on my hands. But I usually only knit on the socks on the bus, so I might not knit that much on them anyway because I will eventually start biking again, and I won't knit and bike at the same time. That's silly. But yeah, I'm very happy with this sweater. I think it's gonna turn out real nice. I don't think I'm gonna knit a new sweater on these small needles in quite a while, because this is a project that's taking literal hours. I think it almost takes me like 15 minutes to get one row done, just because it's like, I think I'm about like 400 stitches on the needles at the moment, and I think that when I'm done with like increasing for the body, I will have almost 600. And it's just too much. It takes ages, even though I love this pattern and it's relatively easy because I don't have to think. It's just stock knitting around. It's just, it gets a bit too monotonous. So, at the moment, not my favorite project, though I do think I'm gonna love the end result. And I'm very happy with the fix I did for the neckline. It is not too wide. I was a bit worried that it might turn out too wide when I initially did it too tight. But I do think it's gonna lay quite nice and look good. I think so. Yeah. I'm gonna put this back in my knitting basket. Oh, maybe I should put it not at the bottom of my knitting basket again, but rather rotate some of the things. Probably a good idea, or else I won't reach for it again. But yeah, I had whittled everything down to 3 works in progress, and then I cast on 4 more, and I still have even more ideas for things I want to cast on. Yeah, wild, I know. I do have Easter off, so I'm very much looking forward to having some time during Easter to get some of these projects done. But that's for later. Now I'm gonna tell you about all of my new cast-ons just because I'm super excited. I cast these on, all of them, I cast them on during the weekend, which was like half a week ago. I usually film on Mondays and then release on Saturday or Sunday, depending on when I have time to edit the photos, the video. But this week I did initially film a video on Monday, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, so I'm filming again. As I said last time, I was too distracted and way too tired. Tiny bit distracted today too, but more on point. So yeah, I'm gonna move my phone out of the way first, and then I'm gonna talk about one of my sock projects. Okay, I'm knocking stuff over, sorry. So yeah, I did finish these vanilla socks, so of course I had to cast on a new pair of vanilla socks, this time a shorty pair. Yes. It's been less than a week, right? Yes. I've done with the cuff and the leg and the heel flap and even the heel turn. and I'm on the gusset. And these socks are going to be just as tight as these ones, which was the plan, because I wanted... Oh god, I'm losing socks. I wanted a pair of summer socks. All of my vanilla socks are kind of summer socks, but I wanted them tighter than the first pair I knit because that one was still a bit too loose. These ones I think are perfect, and they're gonna look really cute in a pair of white sneakers. But like with a long pair of trousers, because I do not like the look of long socks with shorts. That's just... Then they have to be like really long. They have to be like knee high. But yeah, so these are for like when I'm wearing long pants. This is the colorway 172. This is the same yarn, but a different colorway. This is Anita Strikketante, Merino, in the colorway 170, which is this very, very nice pink with some purple in it, and some of the pink is so light it's almost white. So yeah, the tempo on these have been great, though I do feel that I might be knitting too tightly to knit on these Sjøgrønn needles that I actually really enjoy knitting on. My biggest problem at the moment is I knit very tight, which is good because I want it to be tight, but my hands get very tired when I do that. I just saw that the yarn has twisted a lot, so I'm trying to like untwist it a tiny bit so it will knit up more even. Yeah, there's not a lot more to say about this socks. It's my standard vanilla sock pattern. I don't know where I first learned it, though I do know that the slip stitch heel and heel turn I have taken inspiration from a free pattern that's called the Color Palette Socks. They're available on Ravelry if you're interested. So yeah, that's the vanilla socks. My other pair is actually a pattern that is inspired by the Color Palette Socks. So that's actually quite fun. I'm just gonna put this away. There we go. This is my Under the Oak socks. I've only knit one, but considering how far into the week we've gotten, or like, no, how short time, how little time it is since I started this, I do think I have gotten quite far. I'm cutting off a piece of the yarn because the length of it has been annoying me for quite a while. This one was just way too long, so I sometimes accidentally try to start knitting with it, which is annoying. But yeah, I am almost done with one sock. I am missing one more yellow row, and then I'm going into the toe decreases, so I'm very, very pleased. I started this right after I cast on the vanilla pair, and clearly I've been enjoying this a lot more. So yeah, I am very much enjoying this. I did say for quite a few weeks that I wish I had more than one Under the Oak socks pairs for myself, because the last pair I knit was for my sister-in-law, which she has received and she's very happy with. They fit perfectly, so she was very happy. So yeah. These socks are knit out of Dale Alpakka yarn, Dale Alpakka Forte, in the colorway Melert Petroleum and Maisgul. So it's Marble Petroleum and Corn Yellow. Yes. I really, really, really enjoy this pattern. It's my own pattern. It is available in the description if you're interested. But I don't know what it is, I just really love knitting this pattern. I am obsessed. I don't understand why I don't have more socks, probably because if I started more socks that would be the only thing in it. That wouldn't work out very well, I need more than just socks. Yeah. I love them, they're nice, they're good. I think they're gonna fit just as well as my original pair because it's the same size. Yeah. That's my second sock pair of the week, I guess. I only have one almost finished sock and one half finished sock since I'm done with the heel flap and heel turn, but I'm in the gusset on the other one. So that one will probably take me a lot longer than this pair just because the needles are a lot smaller and yeah, it just takes longer. The leg will go very quickly because it's like, I think I took 10 rows of the ribbing and then 10 rows of the leg before I went straight into the heel flap, which was very weird doing on circular needles when I'm used to always having to switch to DPNs for the heel flap. But for both of these socks, both this one and the vanilla sock, I did actually refuse to change needles for the heel flap just to figure out if I could do it. And I could, and it wasn't that bad, so yeah. Good things all around. I'm hoping to get these ones done preferably tomorrow on the bus, or even earlier, if I do end up working from the office tomorrow. I did say that depending on how the birthday party went today, I might be way too tired to come in physically. So, yeah, we'll see. And if I don't go in physically, I can knit during our meetings, because I can knit under the table discreetly without anyone knowing. I concentrate better when I knit during meetings, but I do know that it might be frowned upon depending on what kind of meetings we're having. Our department meetings, I have been given permission from my boss to knit during them physically, but I haven't asked for any of the other meetings. Some of them are client facing. I do not want to knit in front of clients. Yeah. All of that. Which reminds me I have to reply to an email tomorrow. That's tomorrow's problem. But yeah, I have now showed you 2 of my new cast-ons. Both of them are socks. And I'm debating on which project to show next. But I do think... Okay, I'm gonna move this over here. I think I'm gonna show you this one first. In my Everything I Knit in 2024 video, I did show a shawl that I'm using as a scarf, and I did mention in that video and in a few others that I would very much like to knit that pattern again. That was inspired by a Westknits pattern. Though I don't own the pattern, I just saw the shawl and went, I want something similar. And yeah, so I knit up something similar, clearly. I'm again removing excess thread. Maybe this one too, it's also very long. Yeah, I just don't like having very long yarn ends because they get in the way, especially when I'm trying to knit on public transportation or other on-the-go things. But yeah, I think I'll just show you. This is as far as I've gotten. It's knit on 2mm needles. I did initially, there you go. I did initially start them on 3mm needles, but the fabric became too open and drapey compared to what I prefer. So I did try to do it again on 2.5mm needles. Still too open, still didn't like the fabric. I do think that fabric would be amazing for a shawl, but not this one, because this one kind of requires it to be a bit more tight to avoid it looking sloppy, in my opinion. It's a slip stitch pattern. Can you please focus? There you go. It's a slip stitch pattern in two different colors of yarn. Both of them are Life in the Long Grass. The peach color is Angel City, and the green one is Honeydew Melon, I think. Something like that. It's gonna be linked in the description and also in this corner when I start talking about the project. Yes. This was a wild cast on because I hadn't thought about this color combination at all, but I did last year. I did enter Westknits Summer Mystery Knit-along, or it might not be a mystery knit-along, but more like a 3-month thing. You get a package of yarn each month and accompanying pattern, and then you knit with the yarn that you gotten, the pattern that you received. So it's a surprise right up until the very first day of the knit-along, and then everyone is knitting on the same thing with the same colors. And last year I was so disappointed with the first package I got that I never started any of the shawls, which is very sad. I do think perhaps last year I was very, very excited with the patterns, but the colors weren't quite right for me, and I think I just wasn't in the mood to knit mystery things, even though that was what I wanted. I just wasn't in the right headspace, I think. So initially when I did get these two colors and these two orange colors here and there, these two, I did initially think that they didn't go along at all. And I still don't think they necessarily go along that well. But the slip stitch pattern and the stripes kind of make it so it's not such a terrible contrast, I guess. Yeah, I like this color combination a lot better now than I did when I initially got the yarn. I've been thinking for a whole year, going like, maybe I should just sell the yarn or something, because it's a very good quality yarn. As I said, they're Life in the Long Grass singles. Maybe I didn't say singles, but they are singles. That's the name of the yarn. And this pattern is inspired by, I think it's called the Slippy V shawl, or the Slippy V shawl. I'm not sure where you were supposed to like put the pressure on the name. But yeah, I saw the pattern. I did some changes because I didn't want to do intarsia. It was very clearly partly intarsia knit up. So I just did stripes. And then I slipped some of the color, some of the stitches in the stripes to get this V. It is puckering, but the last time I knit this pattern, at that time I did knit it with intarsia. But the last time I knit this pattern, I had the same problem while knitting it, so I'm not that worried. I was quite worried at like the day one when I started knitting on it. I was like, oh, this is not going to look good at all, and it's never going to stop puckering. And then I saw it the day after, and I'm like, this is not that bad. It's going to block out. I know, I have done it before. It's fine. It's gonna look beautiful when it's done. But yeah, the reason I cast on this pattern was because I went on a union meeting on Thursday last week, and everyone I know is part of a union. It's very common where we live. It's not a political thing at all. It's just you're working, you're part of a union. Done with it. No discussion. We don't discuss it. You're just part of a union. You get benefits. You get better loan conditions and some insurance stuff and all of that. And of course, all the standard union stuff, like a union rep when you're having meetings with your company about anything, really. But yeah, this was a regional meeting, and we had a lot of like the standard voting in a new board, and voting on how to use the money we have raised so far, and supporting some initiatives to make children more excited about education that's related to engineering and that kind of things. And after the meeting, we got a free dinner. That's kind of like the deal with these meetings. Everyone knows it's a boring part that you kind of have to go through, and they want to like incentivize people to actually come and do the job, because you can't have a functioning union if none of the members show up and vote. That just doesn't work. But yeah, afterwards we had this very amazing dinner. It was a buffet style. We were sitting in groups and talking about our work and our family and our area of interest and all of that. And it was very nice. And I was thinking, I am gonna like get some dessert and then leave, because I'm tired. It's been a long day. And I walked up to the dessert table, and at the second I like was at the dessert table, someone came up to me, a woman came up to me, and she said she could see that I was like getting ready to leave, but she had to talk to me before I left, because she really did admire the scarf I was wearing, which was the blue scarf that I knit in 2024, which is part of my everything I knit in 2024 video, and it is inspired by the Slippy V pattern. So we were talking for like half an hour at the dessert table about the scarf, about our jobs, about the fact that it was so easy to speak to each other, and you rarely get that as an adult, I guess. And we had, both of us were interested in knitting. I was admiring her Sophie scarf. We were like talking back and forth about where we were living. Turned out we live quite close to each other. And yeah, we're meeting up next week to have a knitting date. So I'm very happy. I do hope this is gonna turn out to be more than just a passing friend, but more like a more staple friend in my life. So yeah, I'm kind of nervous and excited, but in a positive way. So yeah. What more to say? Well, that was all about this scarf. I just wanted to like explain why I was so excited about this, because I've been talking for ages that I wanted to knit a second version of the scarf, because that's a DK weight scarf. It's very warm, very wintry, it's keeping me warm during the coldest days, but I don't necessarily, I can't use it except for like a very limited time throughout winter, because it gets so warm. And I end up always like, especially now during this time of the year, I just take it off because I get too hot, but then my throat is exposed and I'm very prone to getting like a head cold. So I would like to avoid that and keep my throat warm. So yeah, when she was talking about my scarf and admiring it so much, I decided now's the time to cast out on the second one, because at the moment that scarf is giving me extra joy just because someone happened to say they really liked it. So yeah, that's this pattern and this project. So this is my third cast on this week, or in the last week, which is crazy. I usually don't cast on that many projects at the same time. But even worse, all of these projects I cast on after the one project I had promised myself I would cast on. So, yeah. This is the project I'm knitting for a friend. You know who you are. Log off now. You're not supposed to see this. Yeah. Thought so. So, yeah. There's a friend of ours that had been admiring my sweaters. He especially admired my Seascape sweater. That's patterned by Andrea Yeatman. And I knitted up in the completely wrong gauge because I did use leftover yarns. So I had to knit the size 2 to get the size 4. But yeah, if you want to see that sweater, you can look through my library. I wear it several times. It's one of my favorite sweaters. I don't have that many sweaters yet. So yeah. Yeah, this is the project. I'm gonna try and show it in a way that's gonna actually show the pattern. The needles are in quite a tiny bit of awkward place at the moment. They're like they're in the front, but not in the middle of the front. But yeah, this is a Colorwork sweater that I'm knitting up. It's called the Winter's Enchantment. The Winter's Night Enchantment. That made more sense. There was something missing. Winter's Night Enchantment. It is a Colorwork pattern. Clearly. And I'm knitting that up in Drops Charisma in the colorway Marine, which is navy, and Morgentåke. Last time I said the wrong name for this light color. Morgentåke is morning fog. Morning fog, that's the word I'm looking for. I do think these two colors look very nice together, and I am very pleased with how this very first part has knit up. I'm not even done with the first Colorwork chart. But yeah, there's some short row shaping in the back to raise the neck, which did turn out very nice, though the first time I did it wrong, so I had to go back, and then I forgot to change the needle size back. So the very first part of, or actually the whole short row shaping part is knit up on the wrong size needles, but I haven't seen any major puckering, so I think it's gonna be fine. Yeah, and if you want to see the floats, these are the floats. I'm very happy so far. Yeah. I am enjoying this specific Colorwork pattern. It's so far it hasn't been very complicated, and I haven't needed to catch any floats at all because it's so short. And also I do enjoy that there's actually stripes in the Colorwork pattern instead of just Colorwork. I know stripes are technically Colorwork too, but it's a more enjoyable type of Colorwork in my eyes. I am usually struggling to figure out how to hold the needles, or rather the thread, when I'm knitting with two colors, unless my non-dominant color is the one with the most stitches in the pattern. Because then I just throw the dominant color. But if like right now I'm on the part where I'm knitting equal amounts of each of the colors, so I kind of like have to drop one and pick up the other one and switch, because I'm not very good at English style knitting, so throwing more than one stitch at a time, it just takes too long and I don't enjoy it. So then I just do continental, but I like drop the stitches, not the stitches, but the other color yarn in between. So yeah, this is knit up with 4mm needles, and the pattern is free. I will try to remember to link the actual pattern in the description, but the name is very straightforward. And funnily enough, the pictures of the man wearing this Colorwork sweater, in the first picture, he looks super happy and he is wearing this very nice, simple grey scarf on top of the sweater, and he's smiling. In the second picture, he looks like someone told him that his scarf was bad. And then in the third picture, he doesn't have a scarf anymore, and he still looks sad. So I kind of find that like narrative in my head quite funny. It kind of looks like someone insulted his scarf. But yeah. Okay, these are all the projects that I've been knitting on. I'm gonna tell you a tiny bit more about my life, I guess. Some life updates. And then I'm gonna go to bed, because I'm very tired. Oh, I got one more thing I'm gonna talk to you about, actually. I have a planned project. I did last year try to start a light cardigan. I won't say white because it's not white. And I did use this yarn. And I did start the champagne cardigan by Petit Knit. I do have that pattern, so I can knit it up if I want to. And for some reason I decided that I was so done with stockinette, so I tried to do it in some kind of basket weave stitch or something like that. I don't even remember. I think I did like 15 different tries and I just couldn't make it work and abandoned the whole thing and just put it aside. But the idea was good. I do want a light cardigan to just throw on, especially at the office, because at the moment I'm wearing wool sweaters. And I do need the wool sweaters throughout the workday, but at some point I have already noticed I have to like take my sweater off and put it on again multiple times throughout the day, just because I get too hot, then I get too cold, then I get too hot, then I get too cold. So I think a cardigan that I can just, if I'm hot I can have it open, if I'm cold I can close it. I do think that's something I'm missing in my wardrobe, and especially in my professional wardrobe at the moment. And also something that's relatively easy to clean, which is why I want to still use this yarn. This is yarn that I bought on in Rusta, which is a store where you can buy like a lot of random stuff. But they do have yarn. And they had a super big sale 2 or 3 years ago, and I bought every single skein they had of this yarn, and I used it for everything. And I mean everything. I even used that yarn in a different color to make this knitting basket, and I made a cat cave. I crocheted both of those because it's more sturdy than knitting. Oh, and I knit myself my very first sweater, though I did accidentally wash it on too warm temperature in the washing machine. So, because this is acrylic, it kind of melted instead of washing. It didn't turn out quite right. I also knit a poncho, which I did not put in the wash. I washed that one by hand. But then I had finally learned that you have to really soak it to get it actually wet all the way through to actually block it. Though blocking it with water is not the best way to do it, to be honest. The best way to block acrylic yarn is to steam block it. I have learned since. I'm not planning on blocking this garment, actually. I have noticed that most of the time my knitting is even enough that I don't need to block it, and with acrylic yarn it's even less necessary. I can just pull a bit on the fabric until the stitches lay the way I want them to, and then leave them, because they don't bloom if you try to like block it with water. It looks the same afterwards. But like just manipulating the fabric a little bit will make it look quite nice. So my plan is I'm still gonna knit the champagne cardigan by Petite Knit. I'm still gonna use this yarn, but this time I'm just gonna follow the pattern. No thinking required at all. So when I do have time left over but my brain is fried, all I have to do is just look at the pattern and knit. And since this is back and forth, it's just gonna be either all knits or all purls and done. Perfect. All I want to do. So yeah, that's the plan. And thank the stars. It's not that late yet, and I've only been talking for 50 minutes, so maybe I can actually get to bed on time. That would be very nice. But yeah, I'm missing 2 events. I haven't told you about 2 events that I really do want to tell you about. I did say last time that I was going to do a spinning event to raise money for cancer treatment for children. The sentence in my head, in my language, goes a lot faster, but trying to translate it to English is always so difficult. Anyway, it was a spinning marathon. Most of the other people there were, of course, also raising money for treating cancer in children, but they are also avid cyclists, and they are doing an event this summer where they're biking from Kiel to Paris. So it's like, oh, and they're gonna do it in like a week. I don't know how they're gonna do that. But yeah, so this spinning event for them was like bonding event and a light exercise day for them. It was not that for me. I am not used to going spinning. I haven't been spinning in years, and even though I do bike a lot, I haven't been biking regularly in like 2 or 3 months. I think it's actually 3 months now. Since before Christmas. So yeah, more than 3 months. God, yeah. So when I went spinning, the first hour went okay, because that's the amount of spinning I'm used to doing. And after that, I got super bored, because like, I had no entertainment. I couldn't even knit, because I had been thinking through things. If I had, I would have been sitting at the very back with my knitting in front of me and just biked and knitted and doing things in my own, tempo. But no, I didn't think things through. I was bored out of my mind, and of course also I have a bit of a competition spirit. So when the rest are going to stand on the bike, I need to stand on the bike. I can't be any worse than the rest. Oh, but it was, oh god. After 2 hours, I was like mentally done. I just wanted to go home. I was, no longer mentally there. I was starting to like calculate how many pieces, how many slices of pizza did I have to get per person to make sure that everyone would have enough pizza for my birthday, and calculating how many chairs I would need and whether or not we had enough chairs. We had enough chairs. We also had enough table space and plates and glasses and more than enough food, because it turns out everyone was more interested in cake and ice cream afterwards than the actual food beforehand. So we have 2 pizzas left over, even though we were 19 people. So yeah, I'm quite impressed actually. But yeah, me and my husband has pizza for the rest of the week without even trying. So yeah, no, I don't need anything else for dinner. My husband's gonna eat some pizza for breakfast because he prefers to have different meals for dinner most days. So yeah, that was a spinning event. I did finish. I did get through it all. I was mentally checked out. Very much. And when I tried to go to bed that night, I was so sore and hurting all over, in my legs, in my back. I actually had to take my migraine medicine just to be able to fall asleep. And my sleeping heart rate was like above 75. So clearly I had overexerted myself. But the day after I was quite fine, so that was good. While I was on a spinning event, my husband was helping my grandma with the food preparations and the food service for her and my grandpa's combined birthday dinner. So yeah, I was busy with my spinning, he was busy helping my grandma. He also went earlier that day and helped my brother and sister-in-law with some packing because they're gonna move, which is something that happens when you realize you don't have enough space. They have known that for quite a while. The house they're living in is not big enough for 2 dogs and a child and 2 grown people. Initially they also had a cat, but the cat didn't go along with the dogs. Yeah, the cat is much happier now living with my mother-in-law, and even though my mother-in-law insisted she didn't want a cat, the 2 of them have actually bonded quite well, so yeah, I'm very glad about that. I don't think we did anything on Sunday. I think we were just super exhausted and cleaned the house because we were going to get guests. What did I do on Monday? Oh yeah, on Monday I went and bought all the things we needed for the birthday dinner today. And yeah, there was a lot of I don't know. It took me ages to get home, and then I tried to film the knitting podcast after I had eaten, and it was really late, and it just didn't work out. I was very distracted. But yeah. So this week is thankfully gonna be a very calm week. The only event this weekend is the I guess I'm gonna call it a party, even though it's gonna be like low key, like snacks and game night thing. As a we just moved in party, even though we moved in last year. Yeah. I want to call it a homecoming party, but that's not right because homecoming is something different. Anyway. And I do not have any plans on Saturday or Sunday except for going out to eat with my husband, which will not take forever and will also give me energy instead of taking away energy. I am very much an introvert, so even though I do enjoy going to all these social engagements, I slowly but surely exhaust myself. And then I'm gonna have to have a very calm, very non-eventful weekend to catch up and actually be able to survive. Yeah. My plan for the coming week when it comes to the knitting is I'm gonna get started on the champagne cardigan. I am gonna continue with the Colorwork sweater for our friend. When I say our friend, I mean me and my husband's. Technically, he is my husband's friend. The 2 of them met each other first. But I consider him my friend too, just because, I don't know, it's depending on the person. Sometimes my husband's friends are our friends, and sometimes his friends are his friends. And that kind of depends on whether or not I think the person is a likable person, I think. Whether or not they clash with my personality. And yeah, this friend I think goes well with both of our personalities, so I consider him my friend too. Even though the two of us never speak to each other directly, we usually only speak through my husband. But yeah, we haven't met each other physically yet, so I guess things are gonna be different when we finally do that. But yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the cardigan and continue with the sweater. I'm gonna get at least one pair of socks done because I can't have two started pairs and not continue. Though I do think when I'm done with my under the yoke socks, I'm gonna take a break from knitting socks. Well, I have to get both of the pairs done. But yeah, a slight break. Or perhaps I'll just try to knit socks, the vanilla socks, on slightly bigger needles. The first vanilla pair I knit this year, I knit with 2.5mm needles, and then I went down to 2mm when I found the Shaegu needles online. And I think... No, that's not correct. I did knit them on 2mm needles, the first pair, but I did them on magic loop. So they were a lot looser because I knit looser on magic loop. So perhaps I just need to increase the needle size for when I'm knitting in the round and not anything else. I mean, I have not been able to find smaller than 2mm needles to knit socks with. I do know that they're supposed to be a size 1.5mm, but I have never seen them and I have never been able to get any. And I do actually hope I won't need them because the fabric I'm knitting at the moment is, in my opinion, a tiny bit too tight. It's not that I can't wear them, but they are not as flexible as they would be if the fabric wasn't so tight. And it would hurt my hands a lot less knitting on this small needles if I didn't also knit so tight. So I think even if I knit this tight, if just the size is slightly bigger when it comes to needles, perhaps it will mitigate the problem. Of course, that means that I now want to cast on a second pair of vanilla socks just to see if there's a size difference. I really do need to hold off casting on any more projects because at the moment I have the 3 that I had beforehand, 2 pairs of socks, which is then 5, the scarf, so I'm up to 6, and the sweater, so that's up to 7. And then of course I also want to knit the cardigan, so that's 8. And if I then also cast on third pair of socks, I'll be up at 9 projects, and I do not want to go to double digits, which technically I won't have if I do this. But I'm very close. Very, very close. Oh, the dilemma. I'm gonna have to think about this. A lot, actually. Maybe if I cast on a pair of socks on 2.5mm needles in the round, I can knit lace or cable patterns instead of just a vanilla sock. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, if I stop filming right now, I can still get to bed on time. And perhaps I won't start any new projects yet if I just go to bed instead. Maybe. I keep saying that. I probably will. But yeah, at the moment I have 8 active projects and 2 I kind of want to start. Technically more because I have a lot of yarn and I do have plans for them, but I am holding off on casting on more projects because I already have too many. But think that's it. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. I do hope this episode is a little bit less rambly than it could have been. Yeah. If you liked the video, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!